Okay, says we're live. Hello, apologies for being late. I did not have my watch on. But hello, welcome. Happy Writing Wednesday. I am hoping to get some stuff done in sort of like honor of Writing Wednesday, of like, it's the middle of the week, get the stuff done. Definitely feeling like I can get stuff done today. So, because sometimes that doesn't feel the way. But yeah, so I'm feeling pretty good. Feeling like I can get some stuff done and that I have the energy to do so, which is always nice. So I have gone ahead and pulled up my document. I have not much done anything with it, but I have pulled it up at least. Also, so I got a cute little camo dragon for, camo in the modeled perhaps is the best word, but a little cute and squishy from my dad. So cutesies. That's one of the things that he always tries to get mom and myself something cute. Chocolate, yes, as well, because that is our love language, but but also a cute plushie. So that was nice. Hopefully you had a lovely either Valentine's Day, Singles Awareness Day, Happy Tuesday, whatever it was for you yesterday. So yeah. Also, I did post my first short yesterday. So between, I'm trying to think what time I sent it to go live at like 1, I think, somewhere around there. So in like 11 hours, it's gotten 210 views or something like that, which is pretty impressive. I'll have to see what I can do next. I don't know. I just recorded the birds eating breakfast. So we'll just kind of have to see what else I can do and play with for shorts. Glory Writes the Blues was encouraging us to just play around with it and see what happens, and see what we can figure out works for our own channels and timing and stuff. So I'm trying to take that view of like, don't take it too seriously, just like play around with it, have a little bit of fun, see what works, see what doesn't, and if it doesn't, it's okay. But Pat just says, love the make things happen energy on the thumbnail. Yes. I'm hoping, I was hoping that it would be like that energy all month long. So hopefully we can have some of that today and the rest of the month. So your calendar just reminds you there is a BookBub webinar at noon, which is 3 Eastern, which would be about the time we normally end or try to end. BookBub webinar. Interesting. I'm trying to remember, is BookBub... Okay, yeah. There are so many things. So Monique says, hey everyone, hello, welcome. CB is here and says hello, hello. Monique did not get any writing done yesterday because your family and you spent the morning out and then you had to work. Gotcha. So today you're hoping to write 1,000 words. I hope so. Hopefully we can help you do that too. Sophia, hello, welcome. And CB says, be right back. Okay. Yeah, so Mom and I did take a walk yesterday and we have some of the like purple crocus blooming in the neighborhood. The daffodils are in like full show. Plenty of yellow and white daffodils all around the neighborhood. But I think those are about the only thing that are blooming at the moment. The forsythia is also blooming. So some plants are blooming. Thankfully, the oaks have not started their pollen yet, because that's what I'm mainly allergic to. So when that happens, I will be fully stuffed up, and you will know. But yeah, so there's that. Somehow I managed to get a cut underneath my little pinky toe, though. So that's no fun. I've been like kind of hobbling around trying not to put any weight on it. Okay, so we have 2 of Swords inverted. Then we have the Hanged Man. And see what we get for our put yesterday's cards over there. What do we get for our spirit animal? Okay. All right, so Two of Swords. Where's my half sheet? There it is. I always say that. That seems like that's part of a part of a ritual now, but it's just really, I don't know where to put it every day because I don't put it in the same spot. Okay, so the Two of Swords indicates that it is time to make a move. You have reached a stalemate or a deadlock with a decision, and there is a conclusion to be had. So you must, at some point soon, you're upon the time to make a decision. So that is what the Two of Swords inverted looks like with the Lucid Dreams deck. And then to go along with that, you've reached a decision point. You have the Hanged Man, which is telling you to look at things with a different perspective. And you will see a new way forward. So I think those two cards work very well together. And then the last card is the Porcupine inverted. I should have found the spot. There we are. So the phrase for the Porcupine is time for beginner mind, that beginner mindset, but it's in the inverse. So we have that sort of like warning message. Are you feeling prickly and defensive lately, assuming that you will be hurt before you have seen any sign of such a reaction being called for? Perhaps an old sense of guilt and shame is causing you to be cynical and wary when you are meant to be open and curious. Self-protection is a good thing, but you may be protecting yourself from something that will not actually harm you, but instead bring you abundance, happiness, and love. Remember your innocence, and you will see what you have been overlooking. The porcupine quills are filled with air, allowing a porcupine to float with water. Now is a time to let your innocent nature keep you buoyant. So this is definitely, like, I tend to do this when my anxiety gets real high. I start thinking of all of the possible hypothetical negative situations. So, and yeah. So I feel like these are definitely calling us out today of like, hey, we've reached a decision that we've been putting off. You need to look at it with a new perspective and not be so prickly about it. Don't be so sensitive, says the rabbit Pisces, which is pretty much impossible. So we're going to try it anyway, though. Okay, so Shadow's Lair is here. Hello, you're going to be sorting papers today. Gotcha. Monique is going to pull your cards as well. Excellent. CB says, I went on a nice long walk today. Another 7,000 steps done. Excellent. Yesterday evening, you made up for your writer's block prevention. You made up your writer's block prevention box. You also knitted up a storm on the bus. Nice. Excellent. Porcupine is calling you out. Yes. Yes. So you got the Knight of Cups. You love the artwork on it. Yes. And Knights are always action and cups are emotion. So perhaps your what you have been feeling prickly about is the emotional relationship side of things with someone. And you are at a point where you're going to have to take action, maybe have that conversation that you've been putting off. Rachel says, good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. You're getting your book 2 up and planning on getting into that for the afternoon. Nice. Excellent. Megan says, good morning. I've been working on your post that goes live on Thursday, so you need to finish this up. Yes, because Thursday is tomorrow. So, all right, let's do a sprinty sprint. Hello, Laura. You arrived just in time. Welcome. Okay, so we need a sprinty sprint. Do we want to start with the turtle timer or the 25-minute teapot? So 25 minutes, but turtle or teapot, which would you prefer? Pardon me when I pop my knuckles. Megan votes teapot. Monique says, that reminds me, I need to get tea. Yes, you do. All right, so 1, save your document if you have already been working this morning. If not, now is a fantastic time to pull up whatever document you are going to get some work done for. 2, make sure that you take a sip of whatever it is that you are hydrating with. Cheers. 3, straighten your spine, roll your shoulders back for that posture check. And 4, make sure that if you need a break, take one. Please make sure you are taking care of yourself as we are writing. Here we go, 25 minutes in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go! Okay. Okay. I got 426 words in that scene, which I think is really good. And yeah, so then I decided to look up something on KDP in terms of like A+ content. So I'm trying to look that up. But anyway, so that might take part of my second sprint might be research in the A+ content stuff. Because I know I've looked at it before and I've tried to do it before and I haven't seen any, like, hasn't gotten approved or anything. So I'm trying to go back through and see if I did something that was like not in the guidelines. So anyway, so I may be redoing my A+ content attempt. So anyway, so I was just rereading. I pulled it up and then I clicked on one of the, like, fix these main things, getting started. Okay, gotta read that again. Anyway, so several people popped in. Rosalind is here, but is watching the Murdaugh trial. So Paget had a connection here originally from Allendale, South Carolina, and because of them, people might know the name of Allendale. It's not exactly the best thing to be known for, though, as a town, right? What else? Rosalind, it's so crazy. Your ex-husband, your first ex-husband or first husband, I don't know, whichever, was related to one of the partners. Oh. Monique says, I made myself some tea and made notes about the card that I pulled. Excellent. Jen says, hello. Hello. Savvy says, hey, friends. Hello. Today's stream is for working on video scripts and then doing your makeup to film. But currently eating lunch while the sprint runs out. And Jen says, is that my spirit animal? Savvy? Yes. Cool Gamer says, hi. Hello. Welcome. Megan says, I just need to come up with the CTA and this post is complete. Then on to finish up the images for it. I always find images, like, sometimes it takes longer for me to find the right image and the right sort of like aspect ratio type thing, like size that they want. Yeah. Formatting in general takes me forever. So Monique says, I'm currently editing Calvin's character introduction. He's at the convention and he'll be dressed like he's from Bridgerton. I just I have such a fondness for Calvin and Hobbes. My dad had like collector's books of Calvin and Hobbes and Garfield. Garfield was initially my favorite, but then as I was reading Calvin and Hobbes, there was just something so special about it. So for me, the name Calvin always sort of like brings back memories of this little mischievous child with the stuffed animal tiger that comes to life. So, Monique says, I have this idea that Calvin would be into Bridgerton because it's trendy. Gotcha. Paget says, oh, wow, Rosalind, so you recognize some of the names, etc. Your dad's former pharmacy tech's daughter was on the boat. Oh, poor girl was her friend. That's awful. That is awful. Shadows Lair says, not as many papers sorted yet. Paget says, from what you've shared earlier, Calvin definitely sounds like he would binge Bridgerton. Yeah, Jen was asking what the trial or story is about. It's a horrible tragedy. Some embezzling, family members dying, boat wreck. Wouldn't even know how to necessarily summarize everything succinctly. Yeah, it's a mess. CB got 33 words. You goofed around reading silly news on the net. Sometimes that's what you need to do, though. Rachel says, I got lost in Canva and fighting with Plotter. Technology is not your pal today. Oh, no. Well, there's always paper and pen. Call to action, yes. CTA. Brain. Google Docs was being a little snot for you yesterday. Oh, no. Yeah, not the best way for Allendale to gain recognition, right? Yeah. The Canva rabbit hole, says Paget. Yes. Do you like Plotter normally? Monique chose Calvin after Calvin Harris. Gotcha. You're a total Peanuts fan. Yes. I love Calvin Hobbes too. Yes. Calvin and Hobbes is one of my favorites. And when I watched Secondhand Lions, I got, the first time I saw it, I got so excited. And if you've not seen Calvin and Hobbes, the little boy grows up to be a cartoonist. And they got the illustrator who created Opus to draw the illustrations, and it was a little boy running around the cornfield with the lion, and I'm like, I wish that cartoon existed. And my dad just kind of looked at me. He goes, Calvin and Hobbes. I'm like, oh yeah. So that sent me off on another reading spate of Calvin and Hobbes. Paget says, crazy trials are all well and good in TV, but when you vaguely know a lot of the people, it isn't a good feeling. Yeah. Calvin is the male version of Caroline from Pride and Prejudice. Pretentious, subscribes to alpha male mentality, and a fitness/self-help guru. And yes, you're having him dressed like Anthony Bridgerton. Gotcha. CB says, one of my best friends in primary school was a huge Garfield fan. She was the one who got me into Garfield and Friends cartoon show. Yes. Have I ever read the Hobbes and Bacon fan comics? Ooh, I don't think I have. I will have to look it up. Rachel has an opinion of the Plotter. Your brain doesn't really work well with Plotter. It's a neat tool if it works with your brain, but not really for me. I had the money, so I tried it out. I will not be re-upping. I made my own simplistic plotting form. Gotcha. Basically, Calvin and Susan have a daughter, and the nickname Bacon. It's very fun. Maybe I have. I will have to go reread them though. So anyway, it is now time for sprint number 2, which for me will be spent doing rereading the guidelines for the KDP A+ content stuff. So that I can get those up for the tarot journals, maybe correctly this time. And there we go. Make it big. Okay. So don't forget, this is the second sprint. So self-promo time. My self-promo is I have a link to my Amazon author page in the description, as well as playlists of the timers. Yeah, that's there. There's also a link to the spreadsheet for the AuthorTube channel and stream links. So there's that. But yeah, don't forget to do your self-promo, and also save your document. 2, take a sip. Cheers. 3, straighten your spine, roll your shoulders back for that posture check. And 4, make sure that if you need a break, take one. Take care of yourself as we are writing. Here we go, 30 minutes in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go! Okay, I think I figured out what I did wrong with the A+ content the last time. So I think I am fixing it, and I am 3/4 of the way through fixing it. So I just have like one section left to edit, like a small blurb for yeah. So I think I'm doing good. Okay. Yeah. Doing pretty good. So, how are we doing? Don't forget to do your self promo. CB says you're gonna make dinner this sprint, an at-home KFC made in the air fryer. Nice. Megan's self promo. Have you heard about the AI waifu that a male programmer created? Learn more here at Megan's Substack, and read all about it, or check out all of Megan's links via the link tree. Monique is trying to figure out how Ben can describe Darcy. So this would be where you have to, I think, compare what Darcy is, what are Darcy's most prominent features and behaviors that someone would either pick up on and either like or dislike. And then what is Ben's preference in physical features and behaviors, and what does or does not sort of mesh with those. You also want Ben and Darcy to both wear glasses, like the prescription kind. Okay. Sounds fine. Jumping in latish. Welcome. Yes. Welcome. Dinner in the air fryer, and you're going to check on it every now and then. Stephanie says, hello. Welcome. Shadow's Lair has some self-promo. I do Planet and Writes every Saturday at 3:30 Central on YouTube, and Twitch every Monday and Wednesday you do Game and Writes at 3:30 Central. Gotcha. Rachel says I'll be having sprint streams on my YouTube channel every Tuesday and Thursday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern, unless you have a doctor's appointment. I think, Rachel, you've already scheduled out most of yours, haven't you? Let me write it down. Make sure I check. Tuesday and Thursday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern. Monique says, gah, I have to make lunch. So much for making my word count goal. Oh no. See if you can get to 7,500 right now, and then try to write more later. Gotcha. Yes. Okay. So Jillian and Jamie host a writing live stream Saturday and Sunday. I think Jillian's is on there. I'm not sure about Jamie's. Saturday and Sunday, 10 a.m. New Zealand time, which is Friday and Saturday, 4 p.m. Eastern. Yeah, because I have to go and check and see if Jamie's is on the list. I know Jillian's is. Okay. Thank you. And Megan says you finished and uploaded Thursday's post. Yay! Now to brainstorm ideas for next week, and soon you'll take the dogs out. Excellent. Well, next week, what do we have? We have the new moon on Monday, if that matters. Rachel says, I also have a medium. You just uploaded the first 4 posts in a series called Hi, I'm Pagan. Nice. Shadows Lair says, filed away more old classwork. You got a plotting sprint done. Excellent. You had a moment of realization yesterday that your midpoint was sooner than expected, so you've been reshuffling / replotting and figuring out how things work now. Okay, so does that mean your entire pacing is going faster than you thought? Or you're going to have to, well, since you say you're reshuffling, replotting, you're going to have some more events in the front of that then, I guess. So far, it's going really well. Excellent. But it always takes you a bit to wrap your brain around change. Yes. That is definitely true. CB says, you're doing something you haven't done in a long time, which is watching The Simpsons. Nice. Rachel says, I've scheduled them through March. Okay. That's what I remember scheduling yours. So, Stephanie wants to know which season CB is watching of The Simpsons. Anyone else hear the theme song for The Simpsons the moment you read CB's comment? Haven't watched this show in about a decade, but still the audio memory is strong. I saw something on social media where they apparently have clipped the song, and so it no longer plays the full song. Is that true? I don't know. And I guess that would be like if you're streaming it rather than like watching on a DVD or something. Monique says you're going to get yourself up to 7,500 and then go. CB is watching season 12, specifically episode 12, The Computer Wore Menace Shoes. Nice. Okay. All right. I'm going to take a few minutes and finish off this, hopefully finish off this A+ content for the Terror Journals. And so that's going to be my 3rd sprint as well. It always takes me way longer than I think it should to do things. Am I sharing this? No. Of course not. All right. We did both of the teapots. Why don't we do the sweater weather too? Give it some love. Because it's still technically winter. Okay, so 1, save your document if you can. I don't know if I can or not. 2, make sure you take a sip of whatever it is that you are hydrating with. Cheers. Three, straighten your spine, roll your shoulders back for that posture check. And 4, make sure that if you need a break, take one. Here we go, 25 minutes in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay. That was the end of sprint number 3. I did manage to send off the A+ content for review. I just did the 3-card draw journals to start with, just to make sure I've done them right. Because, yeah. So, essentially, like, I wanted to add like a little image gallery so that y'all would know what the interior pages looked like. Because I did not, when I initially was doing these, they still had the like look inside that you could do for the low content journals and such. They have since done away with that look inside feature for low content books. So now I have to add the image gallery and have it approved and all that kind of stuff. So that's at least now underway again. And then like once I've gotten the approval for this one and know that I've done it correctly, then I can do the single card ones and the large print one that apparently no longer has a look inside feature, even though it used to. So there's that. That's one thing, which means I can move one of my top stickies all the way down. Yeah. So, and since I finished one of those scenes, I can move one of these blue suckers right here down, which is nice. Although and I've done all of my orange stickies that I had set out for this month, really, but I could go ahead and get an extra one in, possibly before the end of the month is done. So we'll see. What would be a good topic of discussion for sci-fi writers panels? The fictional one that Ben would be talking on. World building in space, good one. Rocket mechanics for authors, also a good one. How to create alien cultures, yes. You could also do sort of like discussions specifically on weaponry, like whether or not you're going to go with like physics, actual physics, or like light versus phaser versus like space distortion weapons, like what all, which would be a part of world building, but it would be much more narrowed. Things like that. How not to do Star Trek with the serial numbers. Yes, the differences between space opera and space musical. Although I would think that one would be pretty clear. Alien abductions that won't get you banned on Amazon. Possibly, yeah. What to do when you suspect your editor may be a Klingon. That would be hilarious. Rachel says, I just looked up at the chat and started reading Julian's post, and your brain was like, what? What is this about? Yes. It's not rocket science, but sometimes it is. Romance and zero gravity. Yeah. That can definitely use some attention sometimes. Julian says, actually, I need suggestions too. Any ideas for a name of a pack of werewolves, mostly blue-collar males, and lean strongly towards misogynistic views? You had them as the Cool Bananas in your draft as a placeholder, and then you forgot about them entirely until you reread the draft and got to the point, and now you have to fix it because you cannot call them Cool Bananas. You cannot. That is correct. You could either, if you want to keep the joke for yourself, call them something that has a C and a B as initials, or you could change their name. And I suggested something like the Alpha Den. Would they call themselves, their home, the Alpha Den, and then they would just call themselves all alphas? That could be a problem if you actually have like alpha hierarchy within your werewolf society, though, because then you wouldn't be sure if they're talking about the alpha of the pack or the alpha specifically den, whatever. I don't know. What else? I mean, honestly, like all I can think of is like the neo-Nazi, like Proud Boy crap. I'm sure there's also like QAnon. Like, what does that have to do with anything? So you could like to do spin-offs of like conspiracy group names, things like that. Things people might like, oh, this is a nod to XYZ. But yeah, I mean, there are some guys that would just be like, yeah, we're the alphas. Like, would you just call ourselves an alpha? Type thing. There would be some guys that would do that. I'm trying to think of some other names. If you have like a top dog werewolf guy that has set himself up to be sort of like the charismatic psycho leader, then chances are it might be named after them. Rachel says the rough reds. Ooh, I like that. Rough for their demeanor and the red from Red Pill. Or if they're red wolves, there could be that. It could also be just red for blood type thing. I like rough reds. Yeah. Plus, I mean, I am a fan of alliteration, so you're never gonna. I mean, it's very hard to convince me. Like, once you have the perfect alliteration, it's very hard to convince me that that is not the way you should go. But I do like rough red. I really do. Yeah. Alliteration is some of my favorites, y'all. And when I see lists of like, don't do this for your title, alliteration, it's boring. I'm like, are you serious? This is a joke, right? This is a joke. I can have my alliteration, yes. Oh, they have a club color now too. That is true. Like, you can envision them all in like red leather jackets, or like all of their motorcycles are red, or have like the claw mark in red or something. Yes, I think rough reds are the way to go. Yes, I like that better than alpha den. Yes, because then you don't have to worry about the whole alpha hierarchy issue. Yeah, right? So, yeah, exactly, Rachel. If alliteration is bad for authors or bad for titles, we're in trouble. And so are a lot of us. Exactly, because it's so good. It's so useful. Plus, it makes it more memorable, honestly. Just like A Sea of Stars. What was that? Is that Paolini? But like the sea and the star, I mean, you know, it's there. They're so good. I love alliteration. Jen says, I learned a new word today. Which word was that? And apparently it is World Hippo Day, which is fantastic for Megan because that's Megan's favorites. You also ate and took the dogs outside and brainstormed for next week. Excellent. CB says World Alpaca Day is September 26th, World Bat Day is April 17th, and World International Cat Day is August 23rd. Oh, you didn't know it? Okay, yeah, it's alliteration is the repeated consonant at the beginning of the words. It gets better if you can have the vowel immediately following after that consonant is the same as well. But that's just personal preference. It's just the consonant sound at the beginning has to be the same. So. Do. There's an adorable Google Doodle for World Cat Day, and I keep playing with it, so it says meow. Nice. Yes. Doppelgangers and deceit. Yes. Packs and portals. Yes. Love it. And you claim it. Yes, I know. The main competition / threat for their territory is the Old Boys type network of white collar werewolves the Selwyn Crescent Cricket Club. Oh, that's an old name for vibe. That's definitely an old name vibe. Yes. You might know it by the time you finish school anyway. I mean, you're going to learn a lot anyway. And it's just like there are things that unless you like really care for them, you're not going to like care what they are. So like things like what is the extremely detailed descriptions of like ordinary things that are turned into sort of like pieces of art. What is that? Ekphrasis with a K. The use of detailed description of a work of visual art as a literary device. Yes. Yeah. So there's like things like that aren't typical. But if you're writing a character that has, I don't know, like they're a museum curator or something, or an art gallery curator, and they're putting together a gallery, and you're trying to describe the artwork, but in the midst of describing this artwork that all these characters are going to go see, you are also creating like an emphasis on your theme for your, because if your theme is like found family and your art gallery curator is wanting to put on this art show, then chances are you would want to emphasize that by describing some of the artwork dealing with found families. And so that would be a chance to employ a technique like that. But that's not something that you would like necessarily want to do all the time. You don't want to go around and describe, like, I don't know, like the dragon that I have up there in extreme detail, unless there's a point for it. And so you don't necessarily reach for that all the time, just like you wouldn't necessarily reach for alliteration all the time. Onomatopoeias we do use onomatopoeias relatively often, both in speech patterns and in writing, to like bang on things, to, fell with a flop type of, so we use onomatopoeia often, which is why people typically know this as a literary device. Alliteration is slightly less useful, but it's still fun. So it's like a dwindling number of people know what these things are called. You still know how to use them, but you don't necessarily know what they're called because you're not called to talk to them, called to talk about them in a sort of like objective manner most of the time. Because like if you're going to go on, I don't know, Stephen Colbert's talk show, they're not going to ask you about alliteration in your work. They're not going to do that. They're not going to ask you about ekphrasis. They're not going to ask you about your onomatopoeias unless it's important. And most of the time, it's not. So it's just a tool to make your work either fun, more readable, or if you're reaching for like the critical, less readable, in all honesty. Because I find that the works that get those critical, like the pinnacle of critical acclaim, are so hard to read. Anyway, I'm going to get off my soapbox now. Sorry. Rachel says, glad I could help. I mean, that's like the perfect name for that sort of that group of masculine werewolves. I love it. Jen says, I might know more about alliteration by the time you finish school. Yes, I think you should. Onomatopoeia is another literary term that hardly comes up in daily life. Right, but pretty much a good chunk of people know what it is. Plus, it's just kind of fun to say. That might be why there were songs and raps about them. Cute cat, yes. And if you want to make this even better, cute calico cat. So my major was comparative literature, the first for undergrad, and then my master's was in teaching English. So yes, all the things. Onomatopoeia is when a word is a sound. Yes. Yes. When the word describes the sound that it makes. Yes. Anyway, I do have some thingy things to do this afternoon, so I am unfortunately not going to be able to do a bonus sprint, so apologies if you're waiting for a bonus. I do have the spreadsheet, maybe, if it will get out of the spinning wheel of doom. Assonance is a little different from alliteration. Alliteration is at the beginning. Assonance is near the end, sort of like middle to end. And assonance, I think, is more, I can't remember if assonance is the vowel or the consonants at the moment, but alliteration is at the beginning. We can look it up if you want. The repetition of the sound of the vowel. Yeah. Yep. I always, like, there's a visual component to, like, how I remembered that one, because with the word alliteration, the L's are sort of like taller and sharper, and so consonants make a sharper sound generally. Whereas with assonance, it's a softer, which is usually what we have, a softer sound for vowels compared to consonants. And so that was like always how I distinguished with them, like looking at them. It's a weird explanation for how I memorized it as a child, but that's how I remembered it when I was going through school. So it might not help. It might be more confusing. If so, ignore me. Anyway, I have popped in the tiny URL for today. I do need to go in and find some links for this afternoon, it looks like. But I will do that after the sprint ends and try and do that relatively quickly. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for the sprints, and I will see y'all on Friday. Have fun. All right, bye.